And now I would like to give the floor to Anna Boaretto from the University of Padova. Anna is the contact person and the responsible person from the University of Padova of several European projects regarding mobility, virtual mobility, and from a specific Italian point of view, I would like that she could share with us the experience of her university in this field. Thank you very much, Anna. Yours is the floor.
Thank you. First of all, thanks to Elena and to Tommaso Minerva for inviting me. And I just want to start telling you that mine is a very particular experience because I am not a teacher. I am a career service officer. And so I work with placements and career guidance. And I wanted to show how virtual mobility and can help and enhance virtual placements and internationalization in our career service in the University of Padova. First of all, we had an experience in 2007. We had a platform connecting each faculty and connecting, of course, companies and students. But we thought that it wasn't enough for students who wanted to take an internship abroad or a placement abroad. So we thought about integrating it with multimedia. For the platform for abroad internship, we managed to have the possibility for the students to record a video curriculum. That was a very nice experience because they had 2 minutes in which they could tell about themselves, and the company could see have a first view of how they managed with their language, with how they presented themselves. And after we gave the possibility, always within this platform, to have a remote interview with the companies. So it was a first kind of selection the companies could make based on the video curriculum and on the remote interview. This was a very interesting project because it was the first time we could give the companies this kind of access. And so we get involved in this virtual world. This was our first experience, and then came the projects. The first project in which we were involved in was EU VIP, coordinated by KU Leuven, and it meant European University virtual placements. It began in 2009 and ended in 2011. It was a 2-year project funded by the European Commission within Lifelong Learning Project. The theme, of course, was to use the virtual mobility to enhance international work placements. We developed a framework within this project, implemented some pilot projects. There were 8 fully virtual pilot internships and 8 blended internships. We divided the internships into 3 phases: the before phase, the during phase, and the after phase. And one of these, or all of these, could have been made by the intern virtually. Of course, for the fully virtual, the whole process was virtual. So the intern stayed at his home and just had the experience through communication platforms. The second project we took part in, which is still running, is also coordinated by KU Leuven, and it is Pro VIP, which is a follow-up from EU VIP, and it is about promoting these virtual placements abroad. It will end in October 2013, and it has a change in the partnership because we included company networks. This is very important because we saw that it is very difficult to make companies understand the importance of virtual mobility. So we are still trying to sell virtual internships to companies because it's a very hot theme, especially in Italy. It is we see it is very difficult. So we have three stakeholders: no more higher education institutions and students and academics, but students, higher education institutions, and companies. And the best findings of UVIP project, which are used now into Pro VIP project, is that we have to take care of how to select these virtual internships. They are applicable only for specific tasks, which is tasks which are achievable and challenging for the students. They must be, of course, in line with the student's expectations, otherwise the student will not get what he wants from this experience. And it will have to be of importance, of need for the company. Otherwise, the company mentor will not follow the intern. And then, of course, they have to be suitable for distance work. Not all the students can take this kind of experience. They have to be self-dependent, independent, self-organized. They have to be self-confident to manage different tasks, to take decisions. They have to be motivated, and at least they have to have had an experience with virtual communication, or at least they have to be ICT skilled. Again, not all the course of studies are suitable. It has to be learning outcomes have to be defined through virtual activities. There has to be a technology at the disposal, time for virtual mentoring from the academic side, and ICT skills training for people following the internship. Also for the companies, we have to choose the companies. They have to give the possibilities to the student to access their online communication channels. There have to be some security issues which allow the intern to access to the communication channels of the company. Then, of course, the importance of the mentor in the company is very high because even if it is a virtual internship, sometimes it is more time-consuming than a physical one. So we have to pay a lot of attention in choosing the mentor inside the company. Then, of course, they have to be ICT skilled and experienced with virtual communication. The before phase of the internship is actually the student selection and the discussion of mutual expectations, and it is a very important phase because it can ruin all the process. So it's the phase where we have to pay the higher attention. We have to solve administrative issues with a contract between actors. We have to select the proper technology because it has to be reliable, accessible, user-friendly. It has to be tested and supported. It has to be synchronous and asynchronous because sometimes the student can feel some kind of isolation working alone. So it has to provide moments for asynchronous communication, like video conference during company meeting. Also because our main goal here is also internationalization. So we want to provide for the student an international environment. We want to make him understand, to give him an hint of how processes in a foreign companies, how people in foreign company work and communicate between each other. Then, of course, it has to be defined, the goals, the tasks, the deadlines, the roles, the responsibilities, and also the communication protocol, because it is very important that the hours in which people will communicate are fixed, are at a certain scheduling, and then it has to be defined, the coaching process organization, working hours, time for synchronous communication, not to fall on lacks of time. The during phase of an internship consists in the student carrying out his tasks and reaching his goals. Of course, we need the feedback from the mentors and from the students. If the student can work in a group of students, it is very, very important the peer reflection, because it gives also the student the possibility to see how other students like him deal with the virtual internship, the virtual mobility, and how they solve their problems. And then this makes him feel part of something, part of something going on, and he can feel less isolated. Of course, it is very important also the self-reflection and the self-assessment of the student, which can be done through blogs or portfolio. And in the end, there will be the process of the after phase of the internship, which is basically the evaluation and the accreditation of the internship, the accreditation, of course, by the academic institution, and the evaluation also by the company. And of course, the reflective self-assessment of the student. This kind of internship gives many benefits for the three stakeholders. For students, it can give him increase the possibilities of a flexible setup of international placements, so he can stay at home and study while working abroad. It can give him the possibility to undertake an international work placement at a distance and to continuously interact with his academic mentor and peer students during his stay abroad, if he stays abroad. So the virtual aspect can also support people staying abroad, but for a contact within their home higher education institution. And then, of course, it can develop through this experience technology and virtual communication skills. I would also like to add that for our experience, our students told us that they gained intercultural awareness from this kind of experience, which is very important, because not every oh, sorry, I see now. Could you give some examples of virtual internship that actually took place? Okay. Now, from the University of Padova, one virtual internship was one of a student in e-learning and media education who made a Moodle platform for school. This was one example, but in every country, in every university participating in the UVIP project, there were many. Now, in the ProVIP project, we are building a platform which is already built, and we are in the phase of before phase, the phase of the selection of students and companies, and we are trying to start internship in the fields of marketing, ICT, and engineering. So it can be applied to almost all these areas, but I think also, for example, we have had experience in virtual mobility in the Department of Languages, Foreign Languages, and for example, political science, human rights and peace, which is very important for the students because they can get an hint of what would be the... okay, 5 minutes, 5 minutes still. I would like to tell you about the ProVIP platform, which is very important for us because it is a platform that supports the 3 phases of the internship. So the before phase, all students can propose themselves, and all the study programs can enroll in this platform, and their students can enroll too. Companies can post their internship offers, and then they can select students together with the teachers, so they can start their virtual internship, which can be fully virtual or blended, and they, of course, will give their feedback upon the platform. We are disseminating it, so if anyone is willing to take part in this platform and to share with us this experience, of course we will be very happy, and we will give you all the references to get in touch with us. Just the last, because I know the time is running out, the last thing about WM Collab project, Irina already told you, but we dealt with the part of student awareness in WM Collab project. So we realized that website which Irina showed you, and in that website there are the testimonials, but there is also a short guide for students to raise their awareness on virtual mobility and the possibilities and benefits that it could give us. Give them. So please feel free to download it, to share it. Maybe I can put here the internet address, so if anyone wants to see the guide and the testimonials of the student, and then also maybe the ProVIP pathway platform, which is here, and I would be very happy if anyone would join us in the ProVIP project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, for your presentation. Will show us a practical and concrete implementation of virtual mobility under the point of view of study course and under the point of view of a virtual internship. That is something really new in our experience, above all in our Italian experience. We are together in this project, and so really invite other university and study program from other university to join, and we really invite companies to join in this platform in order to spread the results, the opportunity and possibilities to a lot of a number of students, to give them the opportunity to insert internationalization aspects in their CV before their graduation. Thank you very much for your presentation, Anna, and I think that it is the time for the question time. Sorry for the joke. I am asking to the participant if they have a question in order to the presentation of Wim, Irina and Anna. Uh, Giovanni, have you some question for us? Giovanni, we don't hear you. Okay.
You
now
can hear me? Okay, okay,
perfect.
okay. Sorry. No, I want to ask some question because I was saying I'm really a freshman in this community of people working on e-learning, on virtual mobility, and so on. So I come from an experience of traditional teaching, and even if I have a background of computer science and informatics, I didn't really know very well the importance and the important facts in this topic. One of my question is related to the behavior that we have with respect to students. Is there a real risk that we are making them more lazy than they are with this kind of tools? Because I've been listening to all presentation, and my impression is that the majority of the work should be done by the staff, by the teacher, by the tutors, and so on, and the students only can use in a very easy way all this opportunity, but they have nothing to do. They have not to move. They have not to read, not to search on books. So my question is, in terms of the future of those people, is really an enhancement of their education, or you should always combine the face-to-face interaction and the real work with the virtual mobility and the virtual environment? This is a question for everybody, I think.
Maybe Wim and Irina want to answer, please.
Okay, thank you for the question, and I can fully agree with the last part of your question, where you were saying we should go for a blend of the different aspects of learning, both the, let's say, the face-to-face aspect and the virtual aspect. But coming back to the beginning of your question, when you were wondering if our students become more and more lazy, I think it's just the opposite. If you use the technology in the right way, you can make them or you can go for more interaction with the students as a teacher. You can go for more elaborated ways of learning. I sometimes have the impression that we overload the students with extra possibilities when we introduce e-learning. It's not only going to the lectures now, it's not only making practical exercises or going to the labs, but they now also have to do something online. So in a way, I think we should also be careful not to overload the students now with all these new technologies and the possibilities that these technologies are offering. I'm also referring to one slide that I was presenting, and maybe Giovanni, you were still lecturing at that time, and that was about the instructional design process, where I really said that students could be co-creators, and so where we really look at students and ask them to help to shape the course material, to develop learning materials, and to be our partners in the instructional design process. So I myself, I'm not so I certainly don't believe that our students are becoming more and more lazy. Maybe just one practical example. At a certain moment, we were introducing web lectures in our digital learning environment, and we thought that our students would not come to the lectures anymore. At least part of the teachers were thinking that that if we provide now the web lectures online, our students will no longer come to the face-to-face moments. And just the opposite happened. Students are now really coming to the face-to-face moments because they can really focus on what is happening there in the auditorium. They know that there is a recording afterwards available, and you see them looking at the web lectures immediately right after the lecture to enhance their notes, to better understand what they have seen and heard in the auditorium. And it's just the opposite of what those teachers were fearing actually. So students are not so lazy, and we are certainly not making them more lazy than they are.
Yes, maybe I can. I'm sorry. Maybe you wanted to react to them, no?
No, I have another question related to this fact. I have an enormous echo on my headphone. Okay, I hope that it works now. Okay, my question is related to the feedback that you can have. I've always been involved in research about the remote control of machines and remote control of movements and so on. And one important thing, if you deal with this kind of remote interaction, is to have feedback. So when I go to the classroom and I look at the eyes of my students, I can understand if they really have learned and understand the topic. And I'm asking, how can you provide tools in a virtual environment to have immediate feedback about the level of understanding, which is not trivial because the student by himself or by herself does not explicitly declare that he or she didn't understand the topic. How do you implement this kind of feedback?
Is it a question to anybody? I can.
It's a question to anybody. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe my microphone brings this echo, so please tell me. I will decide.
No, it's good now.
Okay. Yes, I can give you examples from virtual mobility sessions. Yes, you're right. Usually we should see either the eyes, or we can also see it from the tasks. In application of technologies, in technology-enhanced learning curriculum designing, my recommendation is always to have more frequent interaction, which could be asynchronous and could be in the form of a short answer, but at the same time, instead of giving one task that lasts for longer period of time, usually is to have this task in certain phases. So that, for example, if we have international groups of students who gather virtually, like us now, and some of them, or maybe the majority, see each other for the first time in a big window, my task is that after this, they get online and start communicating. If they communicate in the virtual area that I am a participant, I can follow their problems immediately because I see their questions raised. And they start questioning very quickly. What does it mean? Have you seen this? Where do I have to go? Virtually, you see, and what do I have to do? So this is phase one. Then they start building something individually, and for this phase we should leave them alone for a while, which should be a short while. And afterwards, they should have the task that requires to bring their contribution in one collaborative document, if this is a collaborative task. And then they compare what they've done, and sometimes in VM Collab Virtual Mobility, we followed how they re-upload their tasks in Moodle. So sometimes before presenting this in this way, like we are doing this now in a virtual conference, we noticed 4 resubmissions. It means as they upload their presentation, then they get it back, edit it, correct it, and again re-upload. So you can imagine re-uploading 4 times means that a person is improving. So we are following statistical information. We design the tasks the way that we should interact more frequently. And also we have discussion before the final submission after a group presentation. So this is my answer, but maybe somebody has more.
Yes, it's very clear. Thank you.
Can I add here something, if you don't mind, Giovanni?
Yes, you can add. It's great for me because I'm, as I said, I'm a freshman here, so I need to.
Yeah, I'm a bit intrigued by your question because I'm an engineer myself, and I did automation theory too, so I know what you're talking about when it comes to feedback loops and so. I would like to add to what Irina was saying, and I just made 2 notes here, two concepts of feedback that I would like to introduce. And one is the implicit feedback, and she was already referring to that. If you see the students working online or in the virtual digital learning environment, you can leave them working there themselves and do the peer learning asking questions to each other, and then you see the answers from the others, and how they gradually move towards some consensus on the answers. In that case, just leave them working and leave them learning on their own, and that is already for you as a teacher some sort of implicit feedback of what you have been teaching, if they understand it, and then finally if they come to a conclusion or to an answer. If needed, you can interrupt, and you can and you can give the, let's say, the right answer if necessary. But that sort of implicit feedback is something that I'm cherishing quite a lot. And the second concept I would like to introduce is asynchronous feedback, in the sense that. For instance, I would like to tell you about the flipped classroom. In that case, you give the students some assignment or homework that they need to do before they come to the lecture. And that might be a video lecture that is available online and that they should look at, or that might be a chapter in a book that they have to read, or that might be some articles that you provide in the digital learning environment, and they need to study it on their own. And so they already have to study the material before they come to the lecture. And in a way, that also then gives you, when you then have the students in your classroom, then you can start with questions. You can start with trying to understand how far is the understanding of the students on the material. And if that is up to standard, then you can go a bit further, go a bit deeper, and you give them a new assignment, a new homework for the next lecture. And in a way, this gives you as a teacher also some feedback on their understanding. But it's different from the way that Irina was describing, where you see the body language of the students immediately. So it takes some time. It's not on the spot that you understand their learning, but it's in a later phase or in an asynchronous way that you try to understand how far they are in their understanding.
Okay, thank you very much. May I ask some other question, or it's?
Just go ahead.
Absolutely.
So, I have some. So I personally believe that one of the, maybe the only one or the major bottleneck for the diffusion of virtual mobility or e-learning is the regulatory framework. I don't know in other countries, but in Italy we have a system that is really really complicated to assign credits and to define the educational framework for the students. For example, in Italy, we are more or less compelled to declare a formal link between credits and number of hours of teaching, and that's not the case when you are working with virtual mobility and virtual environment, because there is a continuous interaction, and we cannot define exactly the number of hours. So here in Italy is a problem, because we cannot make exactly the parallel between an e-learning course and a face-to-face course. I don't know if in other countries the situation is the same, but I want to know the European framework in this field, because the regulatory aspects I think are much more complicated than the technical aspects. I don't know if you agree or not.
Irina and Wim, I would be grateful to you if you can support us and share your situation in your country, and if you have knowledge about European system of regulation about this issue. Thank you very much.
In Lithuania, universities are autonomous to a big extent. And our approach that is applied in a couple of universities that I know for sure because we consult them, is to measure, try to measure the impact. It is, as I agree with you 100%, even 200, that you cannot measure and calculate the hours, in fact, that a teacher would spend for feedback, for help, for support for the students in e-learning course, in applying technologies. So I will provide an example how we solved it. We agreed that the main principle would be trust, but the trust is based on facts and actual situation. So we do approve courses, we attest them, we ensure the quality of curriculum, where teacher is free to restructure contact hours. We use, the majority of this restructuring is based on blended mode, blended studies. So let's say we took the minimum of face-to-face contact hours, which is equal to 1/3, approximately 1/3 of contact hours with students. 1/3 must be in presential mode. 2/3 are dedicated for teacher to decide, in which way, with what kind of tools he will be contacting students and how. It is not, it is not everything is based on trust, no. It means that during the attestation, we see how the teacher is prepared to work with students. But after we approve the course, it is absolutely trusted. We have to trust our teachers that they will work, and we even don't know how much they work in the environment, and maybe much more than is written in the hours. However, afterwards, we integrate the feedback from students and from the teacher in quality assurance processes. So after the cycle, we ask them if you are conscious about the results, if contact was sufficient, and then we also ask the teacher. And after this, we already take actions if needed. So this is the approach that is implemented. Wim?
Thank you, Irina.
That's very clear.
Yeah, Irina, I think that the system here in Belgium, or at least in Flanders, is more or less the same as what Irina is describing. We also have that sort of academic freedom, and we are deciding ourselves what we consider as an appropriate format of teaching and learning, an appropriate measure for credits and so on. So it's up to us as a university to assure the quality of our teaching and learning, and to make sure that the students in the end have learned what we expect them to learn. But maybe I should also refer to, and that might be known by Giovanni, the ECTS system, the European Credit Transfer System.
Yes.
That is, let's say, the basic measure we use in the university. Each course gets so much ECTS points, and that's it. Related to that number of ECTS points is an amount of workload, study load that we expect the students to do, and in that study load there is partly lectures, there is partly some practical work in the labs or exercises or whatever students have to do, and there is some work that they need to do on self-study, and that might be related to work in the digital learning environment, that might be going to the library and look for some books, and that might be paperwork or group work the students have to do. But it's ECTS is, let's say, the basic measure we use to count the workload of the student, and it's up to the teacher to decide how he or she thinks that workload should be distributed in the different components that are possible.
So it's completely different from our system because I don't know if you know, but in Italy up to 2012 we had the system based on credits. So it's basically the concept of the workload of the students. Mm-hmm. And after 2012, now we have a system in which each professor, each teacher should declare and should exactly perform a number of hours of teaching for a certain amount of credits. And this coupling between credits and hours of teaching is completely wrong, in my opinion, but also in the opinion of most of the Italian professors, but is now requested by the Ministry of Education and Research. So we are more or less all compelled to do this kind of declaration, and it's really difficult to match exactly this concept of hours with the work that you are doing in a virtual environment. Mm-hmm. So for us it's a real problem. I think that we have to push at the European level in order to make this problem solvable for the Italian country, because otherwise we cannot provide really e-learning courses and virtual mobility to the international partnership at an international level.
If we can help, Giovanni, let us know.
Yes, but you know, you have to push at the level of the Ministry of Education, maybe.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. The time is come, and I think we have finished the 2 hours dedicated from us inside the Congress of Italian E-Learning Society. I don't know if Valentina Comba is in line with us. Maybe some issues on connection. We are? Okay. Valentina, do you want to make an intervention to close the session? You are absolutely welcome in this, if you want. Unfortunately, I don't hear Valentina, so I think I can close by myself this session. I really want to thank Wim, Irina, and Anna for the presence.
Hear me?
Oh, Valentina, perfect. Okay, please say something from Rome. Okay. Valentina.
So can you hear me?
Yes,
yes,
yes, yes. You can speak.
Mi dà...
Valentina, unfortunately we can't hear you correctly. Maybe it is better for you to type. Maybe there are issues in your connection.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we
can hear you, but there are issues in connection.
We wish to thank you very much for... can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes?
Yes, you can go, Valentina.
Yes. Well, we thank you very much.
I'm sorry, Valentina, but we receive and not receive
for organizing this session. The quality...
No, we cannot do this. We can hear you yes and no. Maybe the best is that I close the session, Valentina. If you want, you can type in the chat. I really want to thank all the invited speakers. Irina Volungevicene from the University of Kaunas, Vivan Petegen from KU Leuven, and Anna Boaretto from the University of Padova. And thank you very much to Giovanni from my university for his participation and interaction from the University of Pavia. Thank you so much, and I hope this conference together was fruitful for all of us in order to exchange ideas and above all experiences in different universities. Yes, different, but
we thank you very much for the session.
No, Valentina, we cannot hear you. Please. Okay. Thank you very much to all of you. Giovanni, we will see in Pavia maybe tomorrow or on Monday, so we have a further follow-up and wrap-up of this discussion. And thank you very much to all participants. And thank you very much to the Italian Society of E-Learning for having hosted this fruitful and significant scientific session. Thank you to all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.